Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Welcome to News from the Crabby Coffee Shop with your hosts, Don McClain from Jason and Alexis in the Morning on My Talk 1071, Garage Logic's newsman, Mr. FYI, John Haidt, and the crabbiest guy in the coffee shop, Kenny Olson.
News from the Crabby Coffee Shop is brought to us by Your Name Here. For some reason, you like us, and we'd like to show our appreciation to your loyalty and endorse your products and services on News from the Crabby Coffee Shop. Here's producer Ross Brendel with details on making our future marriage a possibility. Ross, take it away, my
Easiest
friend.
way to get more information, garagelogic.com. Enter the keyword partner in the search box. Garagelogic.com, keyword partner. Somebody from our fantastic staff will reach out to you as quick as they possibly can. No better time than right now with the end of the year approaching and the holiday season.
All right, let me check that off the list. Okay, we killed a couple minutes with that. Dawn, a couple very good friends of mine, listeners. Listeners don't usually have Kenny's personal phone number, but these two do because they're so awesome.
They both do?
Yes, they both do.
Wow.
I'm talking Angie and Stacy.
Yeah.
They're big fans of both the Crabby Coffee Shop and Garage Logic. They reported to me on Sunday, Angie did specifically, that they had a wonderful time at your event at the Lexington last Saturday evening. How'd it go?
Oh, it went really well. Yeah. We had both nights were, I know Saturday was sold out and Sunday was just about sold out. We just had a few tickets that weren't sold. We were really proud of the presentation this year because we have always, this is, if you just joined us and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm a member of Twin Cities Paranormal Society, and each year we investigate the Lexington restaurant in St. Paul.
Yeah.
And we do an overnight investigation, we collect the evidence, and then we present it, near Halloween time, and they have a ticketed event. It's really fun. People come and see ghosty stuff. We have stuff from, this last year at people's homes and stuff if they've released us to talk about it and show their home. And we got some really good things. Like for the first time, we got some voices from the office where the manager works, and they always see things up there. They always see, and a lot of paranormal stuff happens to the managers. But we haven't, in the 4 years, ever been able to catch anything, and I did catch something on my recorder. Yeah.
Wow.
I wish I was more prepared to give that to you today, but...
Oh, that's okay. No, that's okay. Does that make the employees nervous, or are they just kind of used to it and they know they're tame?
I think that it validates their feelings. It makes them feel better. I don't have anybody at that restaurant. I've never heard anyone say they aren't going to work there anymore, or they love it. Like, the spirits there are... I think some previous owners and some employees. We have a previous cook that worked there, and his sons actually come to the presentation.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm going to read a personal text between Angie and I.
Okay.
Stacy and I are at Dawn's Paranormal Happy Hour. We miss our party buddy, but we'll be good girls tonight.
Oh, no.
And I wrote, is it cool? She says, it was so cool. Her evidence is crazy good, and it was wild that some of the ghosts at the Lex during their investigation tapes brought up their chef who died about a year ago.
Yeah.
You'll have to ask her about the owner of the Lex and what he did while wearing those headphones. I forgot the technical name. Goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, we have Dawn, the rock star, who we love so much.
Oh, God.
So what was the chef thing? What was that?
So Chef Jack Riebel, who opened the Butcher and Boar and has been the chef of many restaurants here in the Twin Cities, he worked at the Lexington for years. He got a rare form of cancer at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And he passed away. There's a really good piece that Jason DeRusha from WCCO did. It was his last interview. We also played that in the presentation. And he's talking about death. He's talking about, if he's scared to die. Really good questions that, wow, hats off to Jason DeRusha. They're very good friends. And so he asked him things that I would be like, ooh, I'd be too sensitive to ask somebody.
Sure.
Like, are you afraid to die?
Yeah.
Things like that. So if you want to look that up, guys, or maybe, it's a competitor, so I don't know if we're going to link it.
No, that's
but,
fine.
it really is honoring him. And so we played that after we played the clip. We're using something called a spirit box, and it's a high-speed frequency scanner for a radio scanner. So it's like, that's how fast, like 16 per second. So the idea is the spirits, you will ask them questions, and within that white noise, they will talk.
Wow.
And every once in a while, you're like, okay, that was a Prince song for a second, But no, they'll do full sentences, and it keeps sweeping like it's a continuous sweep. So it's not stopping on a station, and
Right.
it gives you direct answers. So we had asked, like we say, like, do you know that you're dead? Things like that. I like to say those things, like, hey, you're dead. Do you know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And then a sweeter person on our team, Jenny, she asked, can you tell us what restaurant we're in right now? And clear as day, a spirit said Rebel, which was Jack Rebel. That's his name. He died last December. So they said Rebel? And so the spirit, it wasn't Jack Rebel talking. We believe it's the spirits that live in the Lexington who are honoring him and calling the restaurant Rebel.
His restaurant. Wow. Interesting.
just-
I just got those shivers.
Yeah, I know.
Angie was talking about.
It's clear as day, and I promise that I'll get the clip for you next time. I just had so much on my plate today.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was one of the great, things that we found that I think was the best piece of evidence for the Lexington.
And this is going to be a yearly event, right?
They do like us a lot. I mean, when we played that Rebel clip, the owner was standing there, and he's such a nice guy. One of the owners, his name is Josh, and it brought him to tears. He's like, I can't believe that you caught that. Thank you so much. It just, they have his chef's smock or whatever it is framed on the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone loved this guy. He was just a really great person.
Could you ever do one of these events at a place that isn't a public venue? I mean, I'm thinking this could be a road show if you had the room to have people in.
Oh.
This is really fascinating
You
to
mean
me.
like a live thing? Like they did in the 20s, like a seance?
Well, I don't know. It works out for the Lexington because they have seating and drinks and food and stuff. Could this ever possibly translate into a private residence or a haunted, I don't know, whatever, prison barn, whatever?
Oh, you mean like an investigation live?
Yeah, kind of. Or like this.
Or just yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. We are a nonprofit, so we don't when it comes to going into people's homes and people that are legitimately asking us, we think our house is haunted, we don't charge anything, okay? There's just, if you want to give a donation, that's great. If not, we totally don't care. I mean, most people, it's, if they can give $5 or nothing, we buy all the equipment and spend gas money and, all of this stuff ourselves. So every little bit helps. But at a place where you have a ticketed event, we, like the Lexington gave us money because they are making money off of it.
Yeah.
And so were very kind and gave us a generous donation. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I that's good, but you need to make money from this, McLean.
Well, I don't feel right about it on the side as myself, as Dawn McLean, independent from Twin Cities Paranormal. Yeah, I'm all about making some side cash.
Okay.
GarageLogic.com, keyword partner.
That's right.
There you go.
There you go.
You brought up the word seance, so I think maybe, I don't know if this is what Kenny's getting at, but say I think my house is haunted, or say I think my parents are hanging out in the house I grew up in or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that, if.
But
could
doesn't
you
a seance
bring things in there and say.
Bring things in there? Oh.
Well, I mean, try to bring things in to try to figure out if anything is going on.
Yeah, your equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And would that be a viable business or no?
You don't mean an actual seance?
No, I don't.
Right?
I was joking. I don't do those.
I'm thinking the same. What I mean is, if you show up in a house because I think mom and dad are there, that'd be kind of the equivalent, right? But and you wouldn't want to do it obviously just for donations.
No, and honestly, most of the stuff we catch is after the fact, so it wouldn't be a very compelling evening.
Right. It's you
all the
listening
review.
to hours and hours of tape. Right?
I mean, we almost fall asleep in these haunted places because it's in the middle of the night. You're drinking a Red Bull or whatever. People are. I don't drink caffeine, so I'm just like, I'll take a really long nap before. But like, people always ask us, are you scared to go into, this haunted asylum or, one of these scary, the prisons? And I'm not. I don't get scared many times. I did last year once, but it's kind of boring in the moment. What's scary is having your headphones on at home alone and something says, Dawn. Like, that's scary. And I've thrown my headphones off before. And then I go upstairs and try to find an Oreo or something.
And a Bible.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay, so seance, that's BS, right? Seance?
I don't know anything about it. That's not what we do.
Right.
Like, we don't do that. We don't have, special powers, or we're not psychics. And we definitely don't subscribe to that. Like, my stuff that I do doesn't count towards anything scientific.
You say you're not a psychic, and maybe it doesn't fall under that definition, but you have seen and felt and had some pretty weird thoughts that you didn't make sense of at the time until you met somebody.
And they go, oh, what? Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I've kind of shut that part off of myself because it just feels too unsettling to me. Not scary, but I don't know how to help these dead people. I don't know what to do for them. I don't know who they're connected to,
Yeah.
It's like I just have these people appear and they're like, show me something. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I know their name sometimes.
This is how uncomfortable I get, Dawn, and this is a true story. I told this, I think I've said this on the show. For a while, my commute to work and home literally went right by the Lexington.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to look at the Lexington on the off chance I would invite a ghost into, my car.
No.
And then Dawn talks about the Lexington is a great place. I know people who go there an awful lot, right?
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
But now I think the next time I go there,
you're going to church?
I'm going to be afraid to go take a pee.
No.
Such a ding-a-ling.
They don't want to.
So awesome.
They're happy there. Like, most of them are there because they worked there and they loved the place. Like, they all hang out together. It's pretty cool, kind of. I mean, there are some people that are like, ooh, like it says, help us. And I'm like, how do we help you? We don't know. Like, we can clear the place, do a clearing, but does that, I don't know. I don't think they want us to clear it.
The movie Beetlejuice was 100% true, wasn't it? I really think it was.
Oh, God, I really feel like it's, I mean, there are things, another idea, people say, they'll ask questions afterward, and they'll say, why are they here? Like, why are they sticking around for so long? If they've been here for 100 years or whatever. And I always say, well, first of all, we don't know what time is like on the other side. It could be 100 years for us, but 5 minutes for them. Right. We really don't know anything. And anybody who claims to know is lying. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
You're bringing up something from the Bible that's always bugged me, and I've never understood it, and maybe you've talked about it in your youth growing up in the Catholic Church. How come, people like Noah lived 800 years? What the hell was that all about?
I don't know. That's the Old Testament.
Does that make sense to you? That didn't make sense to me. A season must have been a year to them, right?
I don't.
So summer, fall, winter, spring, that's 4 years to them, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. It might just be some type of a legend.
On the bright side, if you did live to be 800 years old.
No, thank you, Pollyanna.
You might actually live to see the Minnesota Vikings win a Super Bowl.
I knew that was coming. Hi-oh. One more question.
Keyword might.
As a kid, I discovered high in my parents' closet on the top shelf when they were out one night, a game board called a Ouija board.
Oh, you found the Ouija board.
Yeah.
They're total BS, right?
Yeah. I
Damn.
mean, don't
Wouldn't it
be
be
afraid
fun
of a
if they
Ouija
weren't?
board. I know that people, like even paranormal investigators, have this thing where they're like, we don't do that. We don't do Ouija boards.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is it any different than you speaking out into the night and talking to spirits going, is anyone there? And recording it. How is that any different than using, because your hands are on it and you're moving it around the board? It's like, come on. Let's not all be superstitious about something that's just a Hasbro or a
Right.
what is it? Who owns Parker Brothers?
Something like that.
My wife recently got a Ouija board T-shirt, which has brought up a lot of very lewd lines from her husband.
Oh no!
that you can imagine probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the first thing we did. T-I-T. Yeah. I mean, right away, the first thing.
I have one too. It's from the West Virginia Penitentiary. It has a Ouija board on it. So
I wish, of course, my parents, they were probably embarrassed by this and threw it away, but wouldn't it be cool to have an original from the 60s? That would just
people
be
collect
cool.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
it'd be
Ouija
really
board
neat to
freaks.
have.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
So it's been well established. You have that story you told me about, right, Dawn?
Yeah.
It's been well established. Dawn, or Ross and John, you know that Dawn is a very troubled individual. She'll jump out of airplanes.
Very.
She'll jump out of airplanes, but she won't go out in a fishing boat. And I learned another very, very disturbing thing about Dawn McClain earlier this week when she sent me this story.
Okay, a Russian company is offering customers the chance to participate in their own funeral and experience being buried alive for 3.5 million rubles and the equivalent of $57,000. They will give you a full funeral, and then according to your belief system, whatever it is, they will bury you in a coffin and then dig you back up.
No.
Yeah.
And no.
And what was your note at the very end, Dawn?
Oh, I don't know. What did I say?
I want to do this.
Oh, I want to do
Yeah.
this. No, I want to do it, and you want to do it too, Ross.
I think I would do it. My only cause for concern is, could this just be a Russian ruse where they say they'll dig you back up, but then they don't?
Right? Oh no!
What is it that you hope to discover about yourself while you're buried in a coffin?
Maybe it's just a rehearsal. I'm a theater person, and I'm rehearsing my death. I want to do a full funny thing where, people come and visit me, and it's an open casket, and I'll start moaning or something. We'll play weird music. We'll put on a whole play that's like a murder mystery, and nobody will know except for the people that are the actors in the crowd. Because I also used to do murder mysteries, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so, people would pop up and go, "Wait a minute, she didn't die like that. I thought she died like this," and then you're like, "Oh my God, I was just talking to that guy. What is this?"
And then 20 minutes in, you pop up from the casket and you're like, "No, here's how I died."
And then somebody pretends to, off me right there, and they're like, "Well, I guess it was worth coming to this, service." And then we bury me, and then I rise from the grave. It all just sounds like a big theater production.
Excuse me?
Yeah, well, to me it kind of does sound like a bum. So this isn't a deal like the beginning of The Graduate where Dustin Hoffman is at the bottom of the pool with the scuba thing. This isn't a thing about isolating and
No.
hiding
This
from the world.
this was a fun experience.
Okay.
I don't have claustrophobia. I don't care about being in confined spaces unless
yeah.
I'm like going in an underground cave and I start going and it gets thinner and thinner and I can hear water and then I have to try to back out. That would be bad. But
Right.
being in a coffin, it's fine. I would sleep in a coffin.
John has I'm going to reveal some personal stuff about you, John. John has recently realized that he could be a potential drug addict because you had to do a what is it called, John?
A cleanse?
No, not a C scan.
A CAT scan?
MRI.
MRI,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And since you have really bad claustrophobia, that if I remember right, you developed this after your heart surgery, right?
That's correct. I never had claustrophobia in my life. I had open heart surgery at the age of 56. And ever since, I've been horribly claustrophobic, which I did some research. Apparently, 8 to 10% of people, they say, come out of surgery like that with claustrophobia, and they have no idea why.
That is weird.
Yeah, and this story made me so uncomfortable when I read it.
I knew it would.
I was squirming in my chair.
So you had to. So I brought up the drug reference because you had to do this MRI. It was a follow-up for your heart thing, right? And they gave you the world's best drugs, and everything was A-okay?
Well, they gave me some drugs. At first, it didn't work. I kind of panicked, and they pulled me out. They're always very good about that.
By panicking?
Like, please, pull me out. Pull me out.
Really?
Oh, yeah, immediately.
Of the MRI?
Do you pee your pants and all that?
No,
God,
nothing like
Kenny.
that.
Jeez.
No, but then
Start
as soon
praying
as
to Jesus.
they said, well, what we got music, what do you want us to turn on? So I think I said classic rock, just so something I knew and could sing along with. And I said, do you have a blindfold? Oh yeah, we'll put this rag over your eyes. Put the rag over my eyes. I had already taken the drugs about an hour before. Listened to the music. 20 minutes later, I was done and had no problem. But at first, it was sheer panic on my part.
It's been a long time since I've had an MRI. If I remember right, isn't there a loud buzzing?
Yeah,
very loud.
From what I remember too, I'm 36 now. The last time I had one, I was 8 or 9 years old. And is it still the big long tube that you lay down in? They send you in. Is that what it's like still, John?
Yes.
Yeah, I did not like that.
This was a little wide. I've had one before I had claustrophobia. I was fine. And that one was kind of tight, I thought, in the old days, for lack of a better word. This one was a little wider, but still, you're still enclosed. And it was.
Do you remember the drug? It's not an over.
I was going to try to get it on the street.
You know what? I have one left. It's upstairs. I could go look if you really want to know.
No, the reason I was asking, Dawn, is what if John all of a sudden has to fly, to the east or west coast, and he doesn't have any choice. He's got to be there this afternoon. How are you going to cope with that, John?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And of course, I've thought about that. Many times.
So an airplane is going to freak you out?
Yeah, I used to love to fly because it just fascinated me to be in the air. But it's not the flying that freaks me out. It's the being enclosed in a metal tube with other people. And I'll give you an instance where 2 ways I noticed this happened, because I didn't come out of the surgery saying, oh man, I got claustrophobia. I went back to North Dakota with my brothers, sat in the back seat of the car and started freaking out.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. And just I said, you got to stop the car. You got to stop the car, to my brother. And he stopped. I said, I got to sit in the front seat. And they said, they looked at me like I was nuts and said, yeah, go ahead. So
they said, okay. His brothers usually would be like, absolutely not. Get in the back. Yeah.
The other place was my wife and I took the train down to a Twins game 4 or 5 years ago.
The North Star.
And it was
the North Star.
Yep, yeah. And it was still when they were in the running for a playoff spot in the last week of the season. So it was crowded. There was a lot of people in it. I get in, don't think anything of it, and pretty soon the people are coming in. They're coming in.
Boy.
I didn't say a word to my wife. I just sort of ran and stood right by the door. She's 20 feet behind me, looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? I just kind of waved to her. And luckily there was a big burly guy beside me. He said, have a little problem with the crowd, are you? Just like that.
Yeah.
And just talked to me the whole trip, which was great.
Oh, cool.
He knew right away. But yeah,
so
I don't know.
He recognized right away.
Immediately. And he looked like not the kind of guy you think would notice that. Big beard and a baseball hat. And big burly.
It can affect anybody, really.
Oh, God. It was just, And I probably should go get some, treatment of some sort for it. But
my dad, after he had his heart surgery, he became very emotional, and I have heard that happens as well. Like he just started going to watching cartoons and animated stuff. Like I'm talking like Pixar, Disney movies. We're like, why is he just going to see Pixar movies? Like, what is going on? And he said he can't handle. He'll start to cry in the movie. Like whatever it is in the dramatic parts, or he just would get emotional even if we talk about something that was kind of like sensitive, he's like, I'm sorry. No. And I had never seen my dad cry in my life.
Now, wait a minute, because Toy Stories are Pixar movies. Hell, I was crying at those before I ever had heart surgery.
Yeah. I was just going to say the same thing, John. Those Disney and Pixar movies, those will get the heave cries going.
The movie Up, oh, God.
Yeah.
I have a train story. It doesn't have anything to do with claustrophobia.
Yeah.
But your story reminded me of this one night. The roommate and I are leaving some kind of event where the Vikings play, whatever the hell you guys call that place. And it was very crowded.
Bank Stadium?
Yeah. Okay. And we're waiting for the train because we parked at the Caboose, very short ride. And the roommate and I got separated on the platform. And the train pulled up, and a whole bunch of people shuffled in, and I got shuffled in, and I was standing right as the door. I was standing at the door as it closed, and she came running up yelling, "No, get off, get off."
She was still out there.
I waved goodbye.
Oh my God. You bet. I hope you were waiting at the station for her.
And then I got off at the Caboose smoking a heater, and it's like, "Hey, what took you so long? Why are you dicking around there? Why didn't you get off?"
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh boy.
Anyway, I want to mention something here. I'm a hunter, as you guys know, and the diver ducks are finally moving through my area. Duck season finally getting interesting after being lame for a month. If you're a fellow duck hunter and you need ammo or a new scatter gun because you dropped it in the lake, whatever, get yourself to DK Mags. They're on Old 8 in New Brighton. DK Mags has shotguns for all occasions. They can also get you outfitted to get in the woods for whatever kind of hunting you think you're going to do. Small caliber, large caliber, big game, whatever. Both DK Mags and Monticello Pawn and Gun have gunsmithing services to keep those firearms in perfect working order. Maybe you acquired Grandpa's old shotgun, and there's no way you're going to shoot that thing until you've had it gone through. They can help you out there. And the point of the message today, if you consider yourself a firearms and accessories aficionado, a pro, and you need a job, get a hold of them. They're hiring good people, not mean people, good people. And you'll find a good job. They're a good employer. Great selection, fair prices, and the most wonderful staff you'll ever meet. And that's at both Monticello Pawn and Gun and DK Mags in New Brighton. You can check them out on the website, dkmags.com.
So they're hiring good people, which would basically be the exact opposite of you.
I would not be eligible.
Oh my
No, I would be. Ross, I worked at the same record store that your dad worked at for years at a different location. And I had always hated pompous, because you'll find some really asshats working at record stores, especially independent record stores, because the people that work there think they've got the best taste in music.
They're God's gift to music.
And I hated those kind of people, and I ended up turning into one. Because I couldn't stand people walking up to the counter with this piece of crap band when we had the greatest jazz selection in all of Minneapolis, and they're walking up with Steppenwolf, and God, it would just make me so angry.
Oh my God, Kenny.
And after that, who is the guy? He was in Lifter Puller, Craig Finn, and he went and formed a band out in New York. And I decided one day to go down to the Electric Fetus and buy everything that Craig Finn and his new band, I can't even remember the name of them, put out. So I walk up to the counter with like 4 CDs, and I say to the guy, they say this guy is the new Bruce Springsteen. He's pretty good. I love him. And that guy, his tongue almost bled. He was biting on it so hard.
God.
So that's what I mean by good people. Be the opposite of Kenny. Be an actual good person.
Okay.
Well, and you know what, Kenny? You know what a lot of good people do? Watch this seamless transition. A lot of good people, they'll take in a little college football action with their family and friends. Yeah. And you know how they'll do that?
How's that, Ross?
They'll check out St. Thomas this Saturday, taking on the University of San Diego, by the way, where Jim Harbaugh, the current head coach at the University of Michigan, started his coaching tour at the University of San Diego. They're taking on St. Thomas this Saturday at O'Shaughnessy Stadium. The Tommies, by the way, 4-0 in conference play. You can check them out.
That place will be rocking.
It's a cool place, by the way.
And it's going to be a great day, too, this weekend.
Saturday is going to be awesome. 60 degrees and sunny.
Fall is made for football.
It is. Check out St. Thomas for as little as $15. TommySports.com. That's TommySports.com to buy your tickets for this Saturday's game.
All right.
Kenny, can I interrupt you for a minute? Because I'm just going to prove how out of touch I am. I didn't know who Lifter Puller was till you just said it.
Did you look it up? What's his new band?
Well, the Hold Steady is Craig
The Hold
Finn.
Steady, thank you. Yeah.
But I've never heard of Lifter Puller, so apparently I'm way out of touch with whatever. I know the Hold Steady pretty well.
Yeah, that's when I knew. I didn't know him, but I saw Lifter Puller a million times, and they
played
pretty good.
here, obviously.
Yeah, they were a local band, and he left and moved out there and started the Hold Steady. And I have to admit, out of all their albums, I think I love 6-8 songs. They're really pretty good.
The Hold Steady or Lifter Puller?
Yeah, the Hold Steady.
I like the Hold Steady.
Yeah, and they make a lot of Minneapolis references. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So not a bad band.
Learned something new today.
So, Ross, you almost didn't make me mad this week. But
I don't know if that means I was doing my job or not doing my job.
I can't figure out, are you doing this on purpose? And this is one of the stories, guys, that Ross sent us. And it's coyote rescued from the front grill of a car in Florida. And there's a picture of a coyote wedged behind a grill in a car that looks like it was just dragged out of a junkyard. And this is a UPI piece from last week. Workers at a car dealership in Florida examined a car that was dropped off for service and made a surprising discovery. A coyote wedged in the front grill. Okay, Kenny's irritation level still low at this point.
Oh.
I know what's going to make you mad, but I'll hold.
What, is it alive?
Well, let's get to that. The St. Francis Wildlife Association in Quincy said a rescuer was dispatched to the dealership in Tallahassee when garage workers preparing to service a car that had been dropped off discovered a live coyote embedded in the grill. They removed the grill to allow the rescuer to safely extract the animal. Okay, now my blood's getting a little bit hotter.
Yeah, I know.
The rescue group said in a follow. No, I skipped a paragraph. I should have pre-read this, Dawn. You know how I am.
I don't care. That's fine. I do this all the time.
Always check your vehicle after a strike with a wild animal when it's safe to do so. Not only is it important to check if the animal is still alive so we can assist right away, it's also important to check your car to see if it's safe to be driven. The rescue group said in a follow-up post that the coyote underwent surgery for a leg injury and is expected to make a full recovery. This is where I just went off the charts. So we spent money, or somebody spent money, good money, to rescue a stupid scavenger coyote that the world has way, way, way too much of.
Are you reading that directly from the article that you did not pre-read?
I am, Dawn. I am.
Why would I criticize that when I do it all the time?
Do that in honor of you.
Thank you.
I can't tell you
how... You wanted them to just shoot it.
Coyotes are not rare animals. The United States has way, 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 way too many of them, and it's impossible to get rid of these things. You kill one and 3 more take its place.
Oh, my gosh.
They can regenerate and regrow families faster than anything. The government has spent so much money trying to eradicate these. Farmers, they're a problem with farmers, with livestock and chickens and sheep and all the other small animals. And the world doesn't need another coyote. And now this coyote's been around human beings, so now it's tame. So now it's going to be walking through the neighborhoods, and you go, oh, there's neighbor Jim's big, he must have got a German Shepherd, huh? Come on over here. So, how you doing, buddy? Come here.
God.
And chomp.
Yeah.
And now you got rabies. Now you got rabies. Now you get the 3-foot needle in your belly.
Oh, my gosh. Is that what they do?
For rabies.
3-foot needle?
Well, that's what my parents told me when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
my
all heard
gosh.
that.
That's
growing
how
up,
they
yeah.
get you to stay away from skunks and raccoons. But seriously, they're more plentiful than any other animal on the planet. The planet, the Earth, the world, the United States can stand to lose a coyote or two. You don't have to take these things and give them surgery so they can go on and live their dirty, rotten coyote lives.
That story,
great.
There's a follow-up story, too. They released it back out into the wild,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
immediately a semi ran right over it.
It was chasing a roadrunner at the
That
time.
was right out of the cartoons, Ross. That was awesome.
They let him out. Here he goes. Boom.
I didn't see that coming.
Neither
See,
the coyote.
I don't know how I feel about that, Kay. Like, overall, I agree with you, but for the most part, I think there's kind of a a natural way for animals to go out, like they should kind of go out in their environment.
Yeah.
But also this coyote was probably a foot away from dying by being hit by the car.
Yeah,
So
and I'm not ripping animal lovers. I get it. I understand it. I love animals, but I like killing some of them.
And coyotes are vicious too. They're just vicious.
They're mean, rotten, dirty animals.
Here's I'm going to say something really sexist. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, bring it.
At the car dealership, there was a receptionist. Okay, and she started crying because of the coyote, so they had to do something.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, I like that.
You can get away with saying that.
Okay.
You guys can't.
Let's go down that road because
Number
you're
one,
right.
I'm assuming that the receptionist is a woman. Number two, I'm assuming that she would be crying, and I'm just painting a really bad picture for women. You're welcome.
We can,
And to confirm,
that.
you are
But
a
I
woman,
can see,
correct?
I am. I just see a scene where, like, she's like, "Oh no, don't! Oh, where is this? Is it Minnesota?
Minnesota.
It must be.
Oh
Yeah,
my God!
obviously.
Oh no! Oh, look at that poor little thing there. You got to call somebody. We got to call somebody.
Could have been a transplant.
Oh my gosh! Here, I'll go get. I've got a sandwich that I brought for lunch. Let me feed it.
Have you guys ever had yourself?
Give it a Diet Coke.
Have you ever had anything in the grill of your car?
A lot of mayflies.
So, okay.
I've got,
Years ago, I was working in middle of nowhere,
Earth?
South Dakota,
Oh.
Middle Earth. And I drive from one middle of nowhere town about an hour and a half to another middle of nowhere town to call a football game. And there were pheasants. No, there's pheasants all over in South Dakota. And that's where I was in. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but I do know there were like a bunch in the road, and I drove on through, and I don't recall hitting one, but obviously I must have.
Well, you have to.
So I show up to this town to call the game, and there was always, in this one town, there was always a special area for me to park, and they always kind of maneuvered me in because I was big time in middle of nowhere, South Dakota.
That's right.
So I pull up, and the athletic director literally stops me and goes, "Oh, hang on, I got to do something for you." He walks up. I can hear him go. You can hear the car like kind of making
Feel
noise,
it?
and
Yeah.
now it's kind of shaking because he's up front. Pulls it out, holding in his hand is a dead pheasant, and he just goes, "Do you want to keep this or can I have it?"
why is that funny? That's
my
not
God.
funny at all.
It's hilarious.
No, that's not funny at
It
all.
is because he's going to eat it.
Yeah, the
Okay,
guy.
here's what cured me, and you guys can make fun of me. Occasionally, a pheasant, I live in the country, would fly out in front of me.
Yeah.
And I may or may have not, kind of moved over gently and just in order to tag it. You pull over and you grab it, you toss it in the box, bring it home.
It's dinner.
Yeah, and a pheasant is a delicious bird.
It is. My dad used to raise them.
Yeah, and I've got a neighbor that does that. So what cured me of that gentle swerve, is I did that one day.
No, you went off the road.
It hit my grill in the truck I'm currently driving, and then I feel a clunk clunk. I pull over. The pheasant's been destroyed because after it hit my pheasant, it went under the tire.
Yeah.
And it wrecked my grill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I ended up spending $600
Oh, 600.
on an aftermarket grill because the stock grill cost over $1,000.
Oh,
Wow.
my gosh.
So now I never ever do that. That cured me of that.
I had I used to work many, many years ago as a news photographer, and
What the hell happened to his audio?
After a
Sounded
tour,
like
Who,
came in
me?
from outer
Is it
space.
weird?
All of a sudden, it was like,
Really? How's it now?
used to work.
I used to work as a news
Did you just get
photographer.
closer?
Is
No, I
God
don't
talking
know.
to us? Who is
Weird.
that?
Okay, anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Hello.
Yeah.
And a tornado went through a small town in North Dakota. I was living in North Dakota then. And driving there, birds were running into the front of my car. And I found out after the fact that apparently when tornadoes come through, birds get very disoriented.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd never heard that. And I couldn't figure out
Really?
why
Their
birds
GPS
were.
gets off
I
or
hit
something.
like 4 or 5 different birds who just were flying in the air and flew right into the grill of
Oh,
the car.
bless him.
Luckily, it was a company car, so I didn't wreck my car.
The house I live in has a bay window, and it's all day, every day. These things, full bore.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it really scares you. Okay, before we go, I have one really touching animal and roadkill kind of story.
Touching roadkill.
Touching roadkill.
That's our
as a-
tagline. News from the Crabby Coffee Shop. Touching roadkill stories.
We should have a jingle for that. Maybe.
So,
Here's your touching roadkill update.
see, a year or so out of high school, and I had moved back in with my parents for some reason, and a stray cat shows up. It's all white. And this cat was insanely friendly. Great kitty cat. But it was really irritating.
How friendly was it?
It would jump up on the workbench when you're trying to get something done. It would routinely jump from the workbench up to my shoulders.
Oh,
And you take
wow.
it off, you throw it down, and 3 seconds later, it's back up on your shoulders. Well,
cute.
kitty cat disappears one day. Yeah, it's like, all right, that was a stray. It was fun while it lasted. Thank God that dumb thing finally moved on. A week or so later, I'm in St. Cloud at my girlfriend's apartment. We walk out the front door, and I had a 65 Impala.
Oh,
And I
my
s-
God. You did?
I see a little white, what is?
Oh, no. You butthole.
And I said, Tammy, you might want to go inside. That was her name. Give me 5 minutes and then come back out. She's like, what? I said, just trust me. You don't want to see this. I popped the hood. That stupid cat
Yep.
had crawled up
Yeah.
in my engine compartment.
They
Yeah.
do that.
And when I fired it up, it was
Yep.
clunk, 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 clunk.
Yeah.
And the poor thing, so I had a paper bag in the back seat with my trash in it. I grabbed that. We didn't even have a name for cat. The cat, it's just cat. Put cat in the bag, walked to the dumpster.
Don't let it out.
This
And that was the funeral for cat.
this story has nothing to do with anything other than I find it humorous myself, so I'll share it on the way out the door. Yesterday, I take my cat to her now twice annual old woman cat appointment.
Yeah, this
which-
thing's like 18, isn't it?
She's 14 years old and 3 months.
Oh, good.
With early kidney disease.
Yeah, it's about over, Rob.
Yeah, she's getting there, but long story short, per the vet, everything checks out other than the kidney disease, which we're treating. She's just fine and feels no pain. So great. But here's the highlight of yesterday. I go in with the cat, sit down. Somebody else comes in, and the person at the front reception goes, oh, and what's your name and who are you here with? And the person says their name and says, I'm here with Kramer. Their cat's name is Kramer, named after Kramer from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Right.
My cat's name is Laney, named after Elaine from Seinfeld. What are the odds?
Wait, was the owner a girl or a guy?
It was a 60-ish-year-old man. If it would have been a girl, it would have been like
You're not bi, right? 'Cause
No,
that could have been
no.
your new daddy.
no. No, but I immediately, Kenny, I texted friends and family and said, oh, and by the way, I met another cat at the vet. His name was Kramer. Yes, named after that Kramer. And I said, the only problem was the owner was not a 30-ish-year-old female, was a 60-year-old man. Other than that, there were all the signs in the world.
I thought you were going to say that your cat's name was Kramer, and it was Kramer versus Kramer.
Okay, so here's the deal, Ross. Here's the new plan, and I know Reavers is chomping to get in there, but screw him. And I discovered this after we had our son, and he was tiny, and I'm pushing him around in a stroller around the park. Chick magnet.
Yeah.
baby?
Women will babies.
Babies and dogs.
They will run for miles to come up and look at the little.
Oh, no.
So what you do
Steal
is
the baby?
when Lainey finally buys the farm, you keep her around for a while. Store her in the freezer, but occasionally bring her out and maybe sit on the front of the apartment or your house
With a frozen cat.
and have tears.
Kidding me?
And I promise you'll pick up babes left and
But
right.
they'll come up and go, oh, pretty kitty. And then it'll be like,
And no, but Ross will be crying because she just passed away last night, and I had to put her in the freezer, and now I've got to take her and give her a good burial.
No. This is too much drama for me. I'd be like, okay, bye.
I love Lainey Lou, but the moment Lainey Lou is no longer on this earth, we'll be done. I know you want to wrap up, but I got to give a friend credit because I know you'll love this, Kenny. So I want to read this, then we'll wrap up.
Oh my gosh, it's the battle of wrapping up today.
I texted.
Jesus.
You got a story on? I can think
now.
of one, maybe. I don't know.
So I texted this to a group of friends, and I'll leave my friend's name out. And I'm going to substitute the S word for canning apricots.
No.
He replies back, because I told him the cat's fine and told him the story. And he goes, yay, Lainey. Also, you could still have a good, fun relationship with that man, just minus canning apricots. Which sounds like most marriages anyways.
That's what it is.
Oh, God.
That's what it is.
Oh, all right. Now we'll get out of here.
We went a little long today. You know, management wants us to do this every day.
What?
Yeah.
What, the show?
Yeah.
All right. Well, show me the money, honey.
Exactly.
I don't know if I have it in us, in me.
You got 5 seconds.
I got something in me.
Oh, Dawn, I don't want to talk about that.
Let's go.
Bye.
We're done. Let's see how.
Thanks for listening to News from the Crabby Coffee Shop. New episodes drop every week wherever you get your podcasts.
For 9 years, a dangerous man terrorized women, breaking into homes and raping his victims before killing a brilliant young scientist in 1998.
The more the victims resisted, the more violent he became.
Then he suddenly stops, leaving police with a lot of clues and one unknown subject.
I'm Paul Wagner. Join me for Unknown Subject, Season 3 of WTOP's American Nightmare podcast series. Search American Nightmare Podcast on all podcast platforms today.